I would say 4 or 5 years ago, was how critical branding was. And so we developed a kind of a branding program really that was born out of our work with nonprofits and the issues with nonprofits and incohesive branding or processes and systems being off, but also just people in general, professionals that maybe want a new career and they don't understand why they keep getting the same job and they're still giving out the same resume. And it's like, okay, so you don't, have you thought about changing your resume? So we started looking at branding and reinvention and realizing that that's really an internal job. It's not, it's not giving yourself a facelift of a new website or a new resume. It's also doing that inner work to find out what is it that you really want to do, what really turns you on as a business, and then how do you make your way over to that area. I know for our work with our clients, if we compare them to their competition and look at what their brand looks like as well, just so that we do SWOT analysis and all of that kind of stuff. But if you're at a crossroads, and we, trust me, we're in the trenches along with you, when you see that maybe a target market has dried up and you got to find a new one. That's kind of where we went, 2008, 2009, when everything just kind of imploded. It's like, okay, how do I get business now? And just constantly being able to reinvent yourself. And I mentor a lot of young people through our internship programs. I work with a lot of young people, and I always tell them if there's anything that you need to embrace, it's going to be change. If you can wrap your mind around change and be okay with having to change careers, because the type of change that they experience today is nothing compared to 20, 30 years ago. I mean, you could work someplace and kind of count on being there for like 10 years or 15, 20 years. That's not only 5 to 7 jobs, but it could be 5 to 7 careers for a lot of these young people. But I would say even for us, we have to look at, okay, what's not working? Like I had a client, and this was around the time I first started dating my husband, maybe about 6 years ago, we were dating. And 2 years in, he said something, I was complaining ad nauseum about this client. And he said, you've been complaining about him for 2 years. We were dating. It was like, hey, you've been complaining. And I wasn't even conscious of this. But and Christina and Christina will remember this. We were like, oh, here comes, and I'm changing her name. Here comes Mona. Our whole energy would just go down to the floor because it was just like kind of a struggle, a fight. She didn't really understand what we did. It was back and forth. I realized that I had to fire her as a client because she was killing me, or triple what I charged her because it wasn't working. I have a really good friend of mine who was in accounting, and none of her clients appreciated what she did. Thought, she wasn't getting paid hardly anything. She